Hola, Sabríos.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, hermano?
¿Cómo estás, mi hermano? Buenas tardes, adelante.
Oh, yo estoy muy casual aquí vestido, no sé, a ver, let me see. Es que todavía tengo con esos problemas de infección atrás, estoy muy cómodo, estoy así como acostado. Espérate, déjame ponerme el vídeo. Ok, ahí está. Ya recibió ya mi DUS, ¿verdad?
Sí, ya lo recibí.
Good evening, worshipful all.
Okay, there you go.
Question, worshipful one. Do we miss any officer, brother? Who else?
Hermano Christine, Cemento.
What's his position?
Brother Sarmiento, worshipful.
How are you?
Welcome.
How are you, brethren? Worshipful.
Bienvenido.
Bienvenido, hermano Sarmiento.
Gracias. It's a pleasure being among you guys.
Guy, worshipful Cermeño. Thank you.
Oh, it's 6:01 already.
Worshipful Almon, welcome.
Hey, bro.
Bienvenidos, hermanos todos.
Okay.
Wow. That's new.
Bienvenido.
That's it. That's it.
Bienvenido, hermano Mon.
That's the first time I've heard worshipful Almoen.
You got that tongue, worshipful.
Yeah. First time.
You know, it's gonna be the first time I'm gonna see this on virtual.
Worshipful. Hello.
All right,
Yes.
let's get started, guys.
I have a problem with my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear you.
I have a problem with my phone.
What happened?
It's not charging.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay. I got it.
Worshipful Juan, are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Worshipful.
Shall we start?
Ready to start.
All right. Brethren and friends, please welcome into the virtual lodge the master and installing officers.
Brother Master of Ceremonies. Are the officers of this lodge lately chosen, present, and ready to be installed in their respective offices?
They are within the virtual lodge, worshipful sir. Await your pleasure.
Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will read the names and officers of the brethren present to be installed.
Worshipful Juan Lopez, worshipful master. Worshipful Jack Villanueva, senior warden. Brother Federico Jimenez, junior warden. Worshipful Jose Jimenez, treasurer. Brother Francisco Mascarenas, secretary. Brother Ruben Islas, chaplain. Brother Fernando Martinez, junior deacon. Brother Renair
Perez.
Tyler.
That's it. In accordance with the teaching of our institution, it is our duty, before entering upon any great or important undertaking, to invoke the aid and blessing of God. Let us therefore reverently unite with our chaplain in address to the throne of grace.
Let us pray. Great architect and ruler of the universe, we reverently invoke thy blessing at this time. Grant us thine aid in our present undertaking, that all we may do may be done with an eye single to thy service and to the good of Freemasonry. May those who are now about to be invested with the government and conduct of this lodge be endued with wisdom to instruct their brethren in their duties. And may they be continually guided by that unerring counsel which thou hast given in that great book of nature and revelation. May brotherly love, relief, and truth always prevail among the members of this lodge. May they be impressed with a comprehension of their duty to thee and to each other, that this lodge may be the means of lasting good in this community. And to thee, we shall ascribe all the honor and glory. Amen.
One
One
more
more
to be.
to be.
Kindly repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the
flag
Is
of
the
the
flag
United
of the
States
United States of America, to the republic
Republic
which
and
is one nation under the God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Worshipful sir, the officers of this lodge lately chosen are present and ready to be installed in their respective offices.
You will then present the brother who has been appointed Tyler of this lodge.
Worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Guerrero, who has been appointed Tyler of this lodge.
Brother Guerrero, you have been appointed Tyler of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel and implement of your office. As this sword is placed in the hands of the Tyler, to enable him efficiently to guard against the approach of cowans and eavesdroppers, and to suffer none to pass or repass, except such as are duly qualified, so should it admonishes us to set a guard over our thoughts, a watch at our lips, and post a sentinel over our actions, thereby preventing the approach of every unworthy thought and deed, and preserving conscience void of offense towards God and man. You will now repair to your proper place. For the Master of Ceremonies, you will present there's no senior. The junior steward.
Worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Escobar, who has been appointed junior steward of this lodge.
Brother Esquivel, you have been appointed steward of this lodge, and I will now instruct you in your duties. In olden times, your province was to superintend and provide for the festivals of the craft, to assist in the collections of duties and subscriptions, to keep an account of the expenses for refreshment, and to see that the tables were properly supplied by every brother, suitably provided for. In modern times, however, this provision for actual refreshment has diminished, and your principal functions will now be to prepare candidates for admission and to prepare those duties for which Masonic custom has assigned to you on days of profession. Receive the jewels of your office together with the right rod. For the Master of Ceremonies, you will present the marshal.
Worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Perez, who has been appointed marshal of this lodge.
Brother Perez, you have been appointed marshal of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel and symbol of your office. The baton is an emblem of command, and it is sufficiently significant of your duties. You will, under the direction of the master, take charge of all processions of the lodge, and you are enjoined that the proper performance of many of our ceremonies will depend upon the manner in which your duties are discharged. You will take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the junior deacon.
Worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Martinez, who has been appointed junior deacon of this lodge.
Brother Martinez, you have been appointed deacon of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. Those jewels indicate that it is your province to attend upon the master and wardens and act as their praxis in the active duties of this lodge. You, Brother Junior Deacon, to carry messages from the senior warden in the west to the junior in the south, and elsewhere about the lodge as directed. Attend to all alarms at the door and to see the lodge duly tiled. Those rods, my brother, distinctive of your office, will now be entrusted to your care. And now, believing from your past deportment in the lodge that your duties will be discharged with ability and zeal, I dismiss you to your respective place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the chaplain.
Worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Islas, who has been appointed chaplain of this lodge.
Brother Islas.
Worshipful brother, that holy book which adorns our sacred altar is the great light in Masonry, and forever sheds its benignant rays upon every lawful assemblage of free and accepted Masons. Teach us from its life-giving precepts, invoked us upon the labors, the blessing of that divine being whose infinite goodness it so fully reveals and unfolds to us, and guide us by its lessons of wisdom and truth, and you will have faithfully fulfilled your important trust. It is your duty to perform those solemn services which we should constantly render to our great Creator, and reverently to allure to brighter worlds and lead the way. And thus, by elevating your thoughts, strengthening our virtues, and purifying our minds, prepare us for admission into that society of the blessed in the realms of life and light eternal. It is fitting that an emblem of the sacred volume should be the jewel of your office, and with it, you will now be invested. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the secretary-elect.
Worshipful Sir, I present to you for installation Brother Mascarenas, who has been elected secretary of this lodge.
Brother Mascarenas, you have been elected secretary of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. I am persuaded that in your hands, the pen will make an enduring record, not only to your praise, but also to the welfare of this lodge. It is your duty to observe the will and pleasure of the worshipful master. Keep a faithful record of all things proper to be written. Transmit a copy of the same to the Grand Lodge when required. Receive all monies from the brethren. Pay the same to the treasurer and take his receipt therefore. You will now take your proper place.
You're missing, you're falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. I'm just seeing it, yes.
You're falling asleep. How can you see it?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go to bed?
Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the treasurer-elect.
Worshipful Sir, I present to you for installation Worshipful Jimenez, who has been elected treasurer of this lodge.
Worshipful Jimenez, you have been elected treasurer of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. The keys have a twofold significance. They are instrument to bind as well as to make loose, to make fast as well as to open. They will never, I'm confident, be used by you in any other manner than that which the Constitution, laws, and regulations of this lodge will direct. You are to receive money from the secretary. Keep a just and accurate account thereof. Pay the same out by order of the worshipful master with the consent of the lodge. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the junior warden-elect.
Worshipful Sir, I present to you for installation Brother Jimenez, who has been elected junior warden of this lodge. This certificate vouches for his proficiency.
Brother Jimenez, you have been elected junior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station. The plum, my brother, admonishes us to walk upright in our several stations, to hold the scale of justice in equal poise, to observe the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincide with the line of our duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the craft during the hours of refreshment. It is necessary, therefore, that you should practice moderation and discretion in the indulgence of your own inclinations, and that your careful observance that the means of refreshment are not converted to improper or excessive use. Your regular and punctual attendance is particularly requested, and I have no doubt that you will faithfully execute the duty to which you owe to your present appointment. Look well to the south. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you'll present the senior warden-elect.
Worshipful Sir, I present to you for installation, Worshipful Villanueva, who has been elected senior warden of this lodge.
Right.
He is of good morals, true and trusty, and possesses the love and confidence of his brethren. This certificate vouches for his proficiency.
Worshipful Villanueva, you have been elected senior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station. The level, my brother, demonstrates that we are descended from the same stock, that we partake in the same nature and share the same hope, and that although distinctions among men are necessary to preserve subordination, yet no eminence of station should make us forget that we are brethren. For he who is placed on the lowest spoke of fortune's wheel may be entitled to our regard, because a time will come, and the wisest know not how soon, when all distinctions save that of goodness shall cease, and death, the mighty leveler of human greatness, reduces us to the same state. Your regular attendance on our stated meeting is essential. In the absence of the master, you are to govern the lodge. In his presence, you are to assist him in the governing of it. I fairly rely on your knowledge of masonry and attachment to the lodge for the faithful discharge of the duties of this important trust. Look well to the south. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now present the brother who has been elected to discharge the important duties of the master's chair. Sorry, duties of the master of this lodge.
Worshipful Sir, I take pleasure in presenting to you Worshipful Lopez, who has been duly elected to serve as master of this lodge.
Is it known that Worshipful Lopez is well skilled in our ancient craft? Is he zealous in his regard to the interests of our order? And is he duly qualified to discharge the special duties of the master's chair?
It is well known that he is all of this, Worshipful Sir. This certificate vouching for his proficiency is evidence that he is well skilled in our ancient craft. I find him to be of good morals, true and trusty, and as he is a lover of the fraternity, I doubt not that he will discharge his duties in fidelity with honor.
Worshipful Sir, the brethren of this lodge, reposing confidence in your integrity, in your zealous regard for the interests of masonry, and in your ability to discharge the duties of the master's chair, have chosen you to occupy that honorable position during the ensuing year. Are you willing to accept this important trust?
Yeah.
Then, my brother, I shall most cheerfully proceed to install you in the dignified and honorable position to which the suffrage of your brethren has called you, not doubting that the dignity of your oriental chair will be well preserved in your keeping, and that the interests and welfare of this lodge may be safely confided to your charge. Before commencing your investiture, however, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations, which point out the duties of the master of a lodge, and which on no account are ever to be neglected or departed from. They are as follows. You agree to be a good man and true, and strictly to obey the moral law. You agree to be a peaceful citizen, cheerful, to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside. You promise not to concern in plots and conspiracies against government, but patiently to submit to the decisions of the Supreme Legislature. You agree to pay a proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live credibly, and act honorably by all men. You agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of the Order of Masonry, and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the awards and resolutions of your brethren when convened, in every case consistent with the constitution of our order. You agree to avoid private piques and quarrels, and to guard against intemperance and excess. You agree to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren, and faithful to your lodge. You promise to respect genuine virtues, impostors, the original plan. Agree in general good to cultivate social virtues and to propagate of the art. You promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being, and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly to conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive of the principles and groundwork of Masonry. You admit that it is not in your power, man or body of men, to make nations into the body of Masonry. You promise a regular attendance on committees and communications of Grand Lodge, receiving proper, and to pay attention to all duties of Masonry on convenient occasions. You admit that no new lodge should be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge, and that no countenance should be given to any irregular lodge or to any person clandestinely initiated in them, being contrary to the ancient charges of order. You admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason or admitted a member of any regular lodge without previous notice and due inquiry into their character. You agree that no visitors shall be received into your lodge without due examination on proceeding and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge. These are among the ancient charges and regulations of free and accepted Masons, and to these your assent must be freely given. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations, as masters have done in all ages before you?
I do.
Then, my brother, in consequence of this assurance, and with full confidence in your capacity and zeal, I will now install you Master of Maya Lodge number 793. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will invest him with the jewel of his station. The square, my brother, is an emblem of morality, and as it is the special badge of a master's office, it should constantly remind you by precept, but by example, you should promote good morals among the brethren, and thus endeavor to avert the shadow of any scandal or reapproach against the fraternity. Your former life has given evidence that this jewel will not be an unmeaning symbol in your hands, and I am solemnly charged you to take good care that its luster be not dimmed through acts of yours. I now present to you the Book of Holy Writings. It is the great light in Masonry and should ever be the great law of the Brotherhood. It will to all truth. It will direct you to eternal happiness, and an attentive regard to the divine precepts it contains will ensure your success in the fulfillment of the duties you are now about to assume. The working tools of our craft will next be presented to you, that as the master workman, you may instruct the craftsmen in their various duties and virtues, which they have been selected to illustrate. The square teaches us well to regulate every action and to let our conduct be governed by the principles of morality and virtue. The compass teaches us to limit our desires in every station and never to suffer our passions or our prejudices to become the master of our judgment. The rule directs the undeviating discharge of all our duties, that we should press forward in a straight path of right and truth, without inclining to one hand or the other in all our doings, having eternity in our view. The plum is an emblem of moral rectitude. It teaches us to avoid all dissimulations and to pursue the honest and upright courses in life, which will tend to our evaluation into the higher realms of immortality. There are still other important things which you will receive in your charge. The Book of Constitution you are expected diligently to search, and from time to time to cause its contents to be read in your lodge, that none may remain ignorant of the precepts it enjoins or the ordinances which it promulgates. This book contains the bylaws of your lodge, with which it will be your special duty to see carefully and punctually executed. And this is the charter, under the authority of your lodge, under the authority of which your lodge is held, and which you are carefully to preserve and duly transmit to your successor in the master's chair. By the master of ceremonies, you will conduct the master to his station in the east. Worshipful Master, I congratulate you to your ascension to this time-honored seat. The duties incumbent upon you in your exalted station are fraught with great responsibilities. Remember that the honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend upon the skill and assiduity with which you manage its concern, and that the happiness of its members will be generally promoted in proportion to the watchful care with which you cherish the genuine principles of our institution. For a pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary nature which rises in the east, regularly diffuses light and luster all within its circle. In like manner, it is your providence to spread and communicate light and instructions to the brethren of your lodge. Forcefully impress upon them the dignity and high importance of Masonry, and solemnly admonish them never to disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of the lodge those duties which they have been taught in it, and by amiably, discreet, and virtuous conduct to convince mankind of the goodness of this institution, so that when a person is said to be a member of it, the world may know that he is one to whom the burdened heart may pour out his sorrows, one to whom distress may prefer its suit, one whose hand is guided by justice, and whose heart is expanded by benevolence. In short, by a diligent observance of the bylaws of your lodge, the Constitution of Masonry, and above all, the Holy Scriptures, which are given as the rule and guide of your faith, you will be enabled to acquaint yourself with the highest honors here and lay upon a crown of rejoicing, which shall continue when times shall be no more. Brother Senior and Junior Warden, you are too well acquainted with the principles of Masonry to warrant any distrust that you will be found waiting in the discharge of your respective duties. Suffice it to say that what you have seen praiseworthy in others, you should carefully imitate, and what in them you may have appeared defective, you should yourself avoid. You should be examples of discretion and propriety, for it is only by due regard for our laws and regulations, as shown in your conduct, that you can expect obedience to them from others. You are assiduously to assist the master in the discharge of his trust, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom he shall place under your care. In the absence of the master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your acquaintance must therefore be such as will ensure proper instructions of the craft. From the spirit you have heretofore that your future conduct will be such as will merit the applause of your brethren and the testimony of good conscience. Brethren of Maya Lodge number 793, please rise. My brethren, such is the nature of our constitution, that as some must necessity rule and teach, so must others, of course, learn to submit and obey. Humility in both is an essential duty. The officers who you have chosen to govern our lodge are sufficiently conversant with the rules and proprietary of the laws of our institution to avoid exceeding the power with which they are in trust, and you are too generous disposition to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please one another and to unite in the grand design of promoting happiness. Finally, my brethren, as this association has been formed and perfected in such unanimity and concord, so may it long continue. May you long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as Masons. Within your peaceful walls, may your children's children celebrate the joy and gratitude, the annual reoccurrence of this auspicious solemnity. And may the tenets of our profession be transmitted through this lodge, pure and unimpaired, from generation to generation. Worshipful Master, it now remains for me to present to you the gavel, the emblem of power. In your hands, the mask. In the hands of the Master, it may be the instrument of great good or of greater evil. With it, the Master governs his lodge, and the welfare and prosperity of your lodge, in a great measure, depends upon the judicious use. In your hands, I am confident it will be wielded for the best interests of your brethren. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now make proclamation.
By order of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the State of California, I now proclaim this lodge, the officers of Maya Lodge number 793 to be duly installed.
All brethren will, under the direction of the Master of Ceremonies, salute the Worshipful Master by the battery of 3 times 3.
Together, brethren.
Worshipful Master, behold your brethren. Brethren, behold your Master.
Thank you, brethren. And thank you to all the officers from all the lodges that made it possible, especially our installed officer, Worshipful Alberto Casanova, Master of Ceremonies, Worshipful Celso Cardano, Worshipful David Leja, installing chaplain, Worshipful Al Mon, assisting grand lecturer, and Worshipful Christian Cermeño from Pan American Lodge, and to all of you that made it possible. It's easy when things go right, but this was not an easy year, and we're still around. And I'm looking forward to actually thank each and every one of you personally when all of this is done. Once again, thank you. Without you, none of this is possible. It is amazing to see the greatness of Masonry, how brotherhood actually prevails. And that's the reason why I'm here. I love Masonry. I love to see people from all over the world united in one common cause. That's priceless. This is what the world needs, more of this. Thank you to every one of you guys. Thank you. Does it, actually, usually does any brother wish to make any comment? Please do.
Worshipful Master, may I say a few words?
Go ahead.
Worshipful Master, thank you very much and congratulations to you and all the officers of Maya Lodge 793. I'm very happy to see that you're still surviving under these tough circumstances. And I wish I could come with you with some good news, but at least I don't have any worse news than you see on the television. We can be thankful that there's been a vaccine approved and that they're starting to administer them now to the medical workers and first responders, and then to all the workers who are required to be at their jobs while the rest of us can shelter in place. Those of us who need to be a little bit more cautious because of our age or conditions. So I would wholeheartedly encourage the brethren to stay safe. We know that you might have to go out occasionally. Please protect yourselves and protect others. We don't want to have any brothers pass away because of this disease that we could have prevented by merely keeping some distance. I would ask and recommend to the lodge members that you keep in touch with all your members by phone or by Zoom, however you'd like to do that. We have received some troubling reports about older members who have been having a bad depression because of the fact that they're confined basically to their homes. So keep in touch with them, reassure them that you haven't forgotten them, and you'd like to see them back in lodge when the time comes. And I look forward to attending a degree when we get the word that we can do that. And I look forward to possibly seeing a degree in Spanish as I have in the past. And I hope that you'll continue to practice your parts at home and individually so that when the time comes, we can put on a meaningful degree. And I do ask you to be patient. The Grand Master would give us the okay today if it was allowed by the governor and by the CDC regulations. I can definitely confirm that. He is as anxious as all of us are to get back to in-person gatherings. So rest assured, he has not forgotten you, and he's not doing this for any untoward reason, but only to follow the guidelines that we are instructed to do. Now, having said that, he's also said that as individual Masons, and as you mentioned, Worshipful Lopez, that we need to be involved with our community. If you're healthy enough and are protected when you do go out, if you wish to, as individual Masons, and if you happen to be with several other Masons at the same time, that's not a problem. About to help at food banks or food servings for the homeless or clothing drives or anything like that. But unfortunately, the lodge itself cannot sponsor those kind of events. But we as individual Masons can take part with a church, a community group, Red Cross, whatever, anything like that. Feel free to do that and encourage your brethren to do that on an individual basis if at all possible. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I'm very happy to be here tonight. And I commend the installing team, a very nice job by the installing officer and the master of ceremonies and the chaplain. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Worshipful Moon. Thank you. Does any other brother wish to make a comment? Anything? Please do.
Worshipful Master, I would like to present the Gonzalo Sanin, our officer's coach, with an appointment for the ensuing year. We've spoken. He has done a good job in the past, and I just want to continue him as the inspector of Maya Lodge 793. Thank you. Worshipful Sanin.
Thank you, Worshipful Casanova. Any other brother?
Worshipful Master,
Go ahead.
I want to go ahead and congratulate you personally and all the officers of Maya Lodge. I wish you guys the best in the incoming year, lots of health. Wish you guys the best. And on behalf of Panamericana, I want to congratulate everyone. Well, installation.
Thank you, Worshipful. And please send all the information about your installation to our secretary so we can join you when your time comes.
We'll definitely do. Thank you very much.
Does any brother has anything else to bring before this lodge of Masonry in general, or for this lodge of Interdependent Masons in particular?
Lopez.
That's it. If not, we'll proceed to close. Brother Islas. Oh, somebody say anything?
Do we have
Yes, I want to say
anything?
anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I want
go
to
ahead,
say
go ahead.
something. Yeah, thank you. My brethren, it has been a pleasure being the secretary for our Lodge Maya. I look forward to continue doing my job as secretary and working with all of you and our community in reviewing our lodge to bring it back for the property and future of Maya, the fraternity and misery. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Brother Secretary.
Everyone we have here is our Masons.
Okay,
Please verify.
who's that?
Worshipful Alberto was asking if everybody in this room is all Masons. Are all Masons?
Yes, I think everyone's all they're all Masons, so it's okay to close.
Worshipful,
Go ahead.
excuse me. There's a gentleman, Gregorio.
Oh, he's not?
He's not a Mason.
Oh, okay.
I can put him in the waiting room if you wish to.
Yes, there you go. Let me know when he's in the waiting room.
Mr. Gregorio, I'll put you in the waiting room, okay? And then we will put you back after we close. He's in the waiting room, quarantine.
Okay. Does any brother has anything to bring before this lodge of Masonry in general, or this lodge of Interdependent Masons in particular? Does any brother has anything to bring before this lodge of Masonry in general, or this lodge of Interdependent Masons in particular? Does any brother has anything to bring before this lodge? If not, we will proceed to close. Brother Chaplain. Brother Islas. You might still be having a problem with his phone, huh?
Yeah, he has problem with his phone.
Okay, Worshipful J.A., would you please do us the honor?
You're muted, brother JJ.
Okay.
You're muted.
How about Brother Aleja?
Okay, I got it now.
Okay, Worshipful.
Supreme Grand Master, ruler of heaven and earth, now that we are about to separate and return to our respective places up above, will thou be pleased to influence our hearts and minds that we may each one of us practice out of the lodge those great moral duties which are inculcated in it, and with reverence study and obey the laws which thou hast given us in thy holy name. Amen.
So might it be.
Who might it be?
Okay. So I now declare this lodge closed.
May the blessing of heaven
May the blessing of heaven rest upon us and all brotherly Masons and all regular Masons. May brotherly law prevail and every moral and social virtue cement us. Amen.
so might it be.
Now I declare this lodge duly closed. Thank you, brothers.
Gregorio May is in.
Yeah, now we can talk. Well, I mean, not be able to hug each other. It's always great to see your faces, and we're all healthy. That's the main thing, guys.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone.
Looking forward to the day that we actually come back and, do our thing.
Very good. Good to see everybody.
Same here.
What happened to Brother Esquivel?
Who knows, man? His phone gave up on him or something.
Yeah, I think battery died.
He got drunk.
Deacon Renier, anybody seen it?
No.
He did show his face, but he was on earlier, and he paid it after that.
Gregorio, your microphone is turned off.
Wow. So he
Okay.
gave up or what?
Worshipful Master, everyone else, have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great time.
Everybody.
Thank you for being here.
You have a good evening, worshipful.
Good evening, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Worshipful Celso, thank you. Oh, he left.
Worshipful Sean, thank you very much for your help.
Anytime, worshipful.
Talk to you later.
I'm not gonna leave yet. I'm the host.
Yeah, brother, thank you so much for helping me out.
No worries, worshipful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so much. God bless everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to all.
Holidays.
Yes.
Brother
guys.
Mascarenas, thank you. He was the first one who called me. Worshipful Alberto, thank you.
Worshipful.
I sent a message about there's no junior steward, and they showed up earlier, but they're gone.
Yeah.
Junior steward and marshal. Where's Eusebio? Ready for dinner?
Cook
Francisco.
serving.
Federico, did you hear me?
Federico.
He's muted.
Saludes.
He's muted.
There we go.
Federico, do you hear? He said yes, but he can speak. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Said yes, and he said no.
Yeah.
Thank you. Watching for you for your help.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Worshipful Alberto.
Casanova. Thank you so much.
Worshipful.
I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call, Sean.
Okay, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
All right.
You going?
Guerrero.
I gotta get permission. The wife doesn't want me to go into COVID area.
Yeah.
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 But I have some stuff that I want to drop off. I know you're going to see all the guys, so I have some presents for them. So are you going to be at the lodge? Where are you going to be at 6 o'clock?
In the Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I'll leave it for
yeah.
another day then.
6:30. So, yeah, on Worshipful, yeah, I will discuss to you because there's one brother. He's very generous, and he was asking me what charity events do I have for this month. I told him I want to give packed dinner to the older brothers, and he said,
Yeah.
"Okay, let me know how much. I will shoulder everything."
All right.
Yeah, there's a brother. He doesn't want to be identified. Like, okay, and then but he's gonna shoulder like the expense. He said, "I'm gonna support you." Yeah, he's one of the past masters. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, dokie.
Good night. Good night.